Coach, does that kind of serve as a motivation for you and your players being picked 12th at Media Day?
It may for the players. I've been on the side of the media, and I know how they pick. And I've always said this for years. The media has no clue in terms of who you're bringing into your program because they've not followed these players that we're bringing in the door. They have no clue as to what goes on during the summer because they're not in the weight rooms with you. They're not in on the track running. They're not in the pickup game. So when I say no clue, they don't have a feel because they're not there. So to come out with an expectation or prediction that we're going to be 12th, that's why I said if we are the 12th best team, then the conference is going to be really good because I know my team. So does it bother players when they see that, and does it motivate them? I'm sure it does when they see that. But at the same time, I try not to worry about it because it's no different than you having somebody pick number one. You're not going to worry about it. You still got to play games. You still got to be ready to go. You still have to go through the season. You still have to manage your team. You got to guard against injuries. You got to play through injuries. There's so much stuff over the course of the year that will dictate at the end. Now, generally speaking, if you got one dominant team, well, that's a pretty good prediction to make. But outside of that, this conference to me is up for grabs, and I really mean that too. With Arizona's the key player injured again already, it's just too many good teams. And it's going to be so tough to win on the road as well too.
It seems like, is Valentine one of those guys that you're saying, a lot of the media, they're not there. Is he one of those guys who's going to be under the radar initially and maybe might have one of those Josh Hawkinson type of breakout years?
No, because he doesn't have the offensive savvy as Josh. But a Connor Clifford could certainly be one of those guys because he can score. And he's a very productive big man. Valentine is more of a defensive stopper in the middle of the paint that's going to really cause problems for people to score around that basket. So when I made the comment about this was the best set of big guys that I've had, they just can do so much, those two guys. Josh, we know what he can do. He's really good. Well, I've got a couple other guys there that can kind of help predict where the game is going to go, particularly on the defensive end. And in Connor's case, he's just a productive big guy. So we know what we have right now. We just need to get to the games to get the plan now.
Q talked about how he's had more energy coming into the season. Have you seen that in practice recently?
Who's that again?
Q. He's talking about having more energy.
Yeah, I think with players, with all of these players, I should say, a year later in the system, and it's a running system. You have to get up and down the floor. You have to be in shape. You got to run. You got to get out and sprint. And particularly guys that are on the wing, like the Qs, they've got to be scorers. So a year later, everybody seems to have more energy to me because they understand the system better. And that's what I mean by Q seems to have more energy because he understands the system better, which means he knows how to get out and run and go finish and attack the basket. And if he can continue to do those things, I think he'll get more confidence. It becomes like a feeding frenzy. When they can see they can have success by running and attacking and scoring, they tend to want to do it more.
Coach, we talked about Josh filling Devontae's role and becoming the guy for you guys. Where's the area you want to see him improve the most when these games?
Defense. He has to get better defensively and to where he can stop an opposing team's four-man. When people put him in ball screens and things, we can do a better job at helping him there. But at the same time, one-on-one, he's got to get a lot better. He knows that. He's worked on that extremely hard. And I'm hoping with the addition of the new players in the program, we won't need Josh to play as many major minutes, which should keep him fresher, which could keep him at a higher productivity level, playing at maybe 90-95% versus dropping down to 60 or 70 just to stay in the game and everything. I'm hoping that won't be the case for him.
Coach, what progress have you seen in practice since we've seen you last? I guess how are things going as we approach the season here?
Probably the biggest thing is the new group has a capacity to learn things really quickly. I've been really impressed with how quick they've picked up our offense and picked up things, so we continue to give them more, and now we're kind of in a fine-tuning stage. We'll teach more before we get into conference play, but I've been very impressed with the load of stuff that we've given them, and they've been able to handle. So you don't want to get a team to where they overthink, but we've got a lot of stuff in right now. Now it's a matter of just playing basketball and playing with confidence and those types of things. But I've been really impressed with how much they've been able to handle.
Of the true freshmen, who do you think is most ready to contribute?
There's two true freshmen, probably Viante Daniels. Yet, if you would talk to our guys, they would say it would be Robert, just because they They both are different. They're both, I'm not going to redshirt anybody. They both are going to have to play. They both bring something different to the table. Viante is a tremendous shooter, plays with tremendous energy getting up and down the floor. And I think there's going to be nights where we're going to need his energy. We need his shooting. And Robert is another big that is very, very skilled, that can score inside, score outside. Down the road, those two players are going to really be good, but I think they can help us out the gate right now as freshmen just because their games are pretty good.
So much of college basketball recruiting now, the players establish themselves when they're freshmen or sophomores, really recruiting picks up when they're juniors. But Viante seems like a guy who really blossomed and became that type of player as a senior. Is he still pretty early in that development curve, do you think?
I think both Viante and Robert, I think anybody could walk in the gym and pick out the McDonald All-Americans. They're head and shoulders above everybody else. The hard part with recruiting is picking out those players that a year or two down the road, they've caught those players in the conference and they can play at that level. And that's what you have in both of those players. I think their skill set is really good. I think when they continue to get bigger, stronger, learn how to work at this level, handle the physicality of it, they both have really nice, skilled games on them. It's just adjusting and adapting to this level of play. And so both of them are trending upward, as you would say, with their game. And I'm anxious, again, just to see them as we get further down the road in preseason and just to see where they're at.
For Viante to go from not the best player on his team, arguably, to the 4A state player of the year, in what areas was he kind of raw?
I would say probably in his case, strength. He was not a very big-bodied player in the 10th grade. He'll talk about that. Didn't have a lot of weight on him and everything. And as his body got stronger, his confidence got better. And then he was a young man that puts a lot of time in the gym. And when you do that and you can get on your game and feel good about that isolation time that you're in there and all of a sudden get stronger on top of it, that's why he started to blossom. He's very well coached in high school, excellent young man, parented the right way, very focused at what he does. So when you throw all those intangibles in there, he's given himself a chance to be a really good player. So if I look at him where he was in 10th grade to 12th grade, it's strength, it's getting in the gym, and it's confidence that's allowed his game to blossom.
Seems like Ike's gotten a lot stronger. Do you see that changing his game in any ways?
What Ike has gotten to me is a lot headier because we've always watched lifting him too much in the weight room because he's got a body that can put on a lot of bulk really fast, and we don't want to do that with him. So he doesn't lift as much as everybody else. But the thing about his game, he plays with a lot more understanding of what we need out of him. So therefore he has a little bit more calm to himself on the floor, and I really like that. So he's been really productive in the floor. He knows when to go fast. He knows when to go slow. He's getting a better grasp of what we're doing offensively the second time around.
Those guards like Ike who have a lot of brothers that they probably play a lot of one-on-one with growing up, do they kind of have more one-on-one games in your experience?
I don't know if it's one-on-one games. I think with high school basketball, the way it's structured, where you can get out of your season, play in the spring, play in the summer, high school, or AAU basketball. They just play so many games. And coming through high school, when kids are playing so much, I think that helps. I don't think we have Ike during the summer, so he's not home playing a lot. But coming through high school, they play so much more basketball. And I think, again, with our style of play, it's designed for you to get out and get into transition and really score when you have numbers. And sometimes that presents the 2-on-1s, the 3-on-2s, and the 4-on-3s. And that's where he's really good, I think, at attacking people and attacking the basket.
You've been very engaging on campus with students and faculty. What has the response from those people been? Seeing you on campus, you bring pizza to students. What has that been like?
The response has been really good. I think it's very important that we get the college community involved with our basketball team and our basketball program. We need the students in that arena. If we're going to have the success that we envision, they have to be there. They've been there before in the past, and those programs from Raveling to Sampson to Bennett, they've all had success, and we envision ourselves having that similar success when we get that student body there. We don't have to wait to 3 or 4 years down the road. We feel like we can do it right now if we cultivate it the right way, put the right product on the floor, have the right energy in the building to help us defensively and offensively go on runs or get stops. So a big part of what we're doing is not only building a basketball program on the floor, but building the culture, changing the culture of the program off the floor, and that involves the college community. So I've tried to spend a lot of time energizing or re-energizing our fan base, particularly the students, and hopefully it will pay dividends for us that they will get into the arena, see the product, like the product, come back, build it together with us, and we can turn this into something special really quick.
What sort of a minutes breakdown would you prefer to see on Friday?
Don't know. I mean, you got 13 guys sitting there, so I don't know yet. I think it'll just depend upon what kind of groove we're in and how we play. We always do a thing on our retreat that we just came back on of having you tell me how many minutes you can handle in a game. And there's only 200 possible minutes in the game when you talk about 40 minutes a game at each position. Well, it came back at 296 minutes. Now, that's not bad considering I've had years with teams where it's come back over 400 minutes. So I can work with the 296 a little bit better, but obviously somebody's going to have to scale back and envision themselves playing a lot less than what they think. So we'll get a better feel for that as we get into the game. Obviously, you don't want to work Josh and Ike too much, but I would like for them to get into a groove in the game and see where they're at.
Do you ever the game on Saturday?
Am I going to be at the game on Saturday? Yeah. I've been holding my breath for game day like everybody else. We didn't get it, but of course I'm going to be at the game on Saturday. Yes, I think football, along with our volleyball teams, obviously our soccer teams, I think it's just been a really good start to the school year this semester with so much success. I had an opportunity to go out last week on an off day and spend a day with the rowing team. And I'm going to tell you something, boy. I went back to my guys, they're not working hard enough because that was amazing to see those gals and how hard they work and to be able to do what they do and everything. But I will definitely be at the football game. I think it's just terrific, the energy, the buzz around campus, what they've accomplished, what all of our sports programs have accomplished this semester. It's not just good for the athletic department, it's good for our school. And when you're turning on Sports Center in the morning and there's that big logo there and you've got a former Coug pumping us, that's just invaluable in terms of recruiting, image, energy. It just keeps everything moving the right way. So I'm happy for Mike, but I'm really, really happy for Bill Moose and how hard he's worked to put these pieces into place to have it pay some dividends right now.
Any more questions in here? All right, any questions from the phone?
Yeah, Ernie, this is Theo from Lewiston, Virginia. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Hey, I was going to ask you, last year you were really pushing to get a lot of home games early on in the season. You guys kind of have your first 9 games in the area this year. How advantageous do you think that is to have so many early home games in the non-conference schedule?
If you looked at schedules last year, we were kind of the odd man out with everybody else in the conference for whatever reason. And I had nothing to do with it. I inherited the schedule. This year we were able to set the schedule and we looked like everybody else. And that's huge for us because the schedule is set for a new staff, a team with 7 new players, 6 new and Valentine having sat out, to hopefully get an opportunity to get into a rhythm, to gain some confidence, to get moving. And that's what everybody else does in the conference as well, too. So I'm very, very pleased that we've put together that schedule, that it will test you with the games on there. Obviously, UTEP, Gonzaga, teams of that nature that are sitting on that schedule at home. Then out on the road with a humongous game sitting there in Hawaii against Oklahoma. Even going across the state line over to Idaho is going to test you. And then we come back home again and open up with 3 conference games at home. And it will give you an opportunity again, hopefully going into conference play, if you can handle your schedule to gain some momentum. So I've always said, and Mike Montgomery was a master of scheduling, is win your home games and try to steal as many as you can on the road. And we have a schedule set up that gives us an opportunity to have some success at home, and we need that for this program.
And then I was going to ask you about Josh. He's obviously going to be a known quantity around the lake this year. But what can he do on the offensive end to be just as productive, even if he's not scoring down 10 rebounds and scoring double digits every game?
His numbers may go down, and if they do actually, if they go down for the right reasons, that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And those right reasons being that he's got help, and Connor Clifford is getting more rebounds, scoring more. Valentine getting more rebounds. Ike Arabu, our guards, are doing more things. We've got some really good guards that I've not noticed Josh as much in practice because the scoring is shared so much all over the floor. but there are times that he goes into that mode that he starts to dominate, and he has the ability to do that as well too. So I envision giving him help just because we're deeper, more athletic, year or two in the system for a lot of guys, that maybe we can eliminate teams thinking they can key on him and eliminate his minutes, and maybe and possibly in doing that, he may or may not be as productive. We'll just have to wait and see as we get into it.
Was it really an emphasis during the offseason to get some more depth down low and be able to rely on maybe 4 or 5 guys instead of just 2 or 3?
Well, the big thing for us in recruiting was to get bigger. Having gone through the conference and battling the likes of a Colorado, a Utah, and Arizona, even in Oregon, and feeling how much more physical those teams were and bigger in size, bigger wings, inside presence, we set our recruiting to try to accomplish that, to be one of, if not the biggest team in the conference, and trying to do that. So there was the emphasis in not only just getting bigger, but getting more skilled. And what I mean by that, again, being able to shoot it better, run better. Felt like we left a lot of basketball plays on the floor last year that we either did not see or did not have the ability to make the play. And I feel like we're seeing the play and making a lot more basketball plays with this group we have so far.
Thanks, Ernie.
You bet.
I feel like we can't talk about scheduling without me asking of your thoughts on the long-term viability of the Gonzaga rivalry.
I hope that and the ball's in their court up there, because we would love to play the game. I think it's good for Washington State, Gonzaga, Pullman, Spokane, their alumni down in this area, certainly our alumni up in that area, to have the game. But I also understand scheduling. And Mark needs to do what's best for his program, no differently than I would do what's best for my program. But to be this close together, and I'm hoping we can get our program to the point that they would want to play us, because it's a feather in their cap to beat us. But it's a good game for us to play right now, and I think it'd be a great rivalry to continue if they would want to do it.
Coach, you'll talk more about this next week, but do you want to talk a little bit about
I definitely do want to talk about George Rowley. See, she's been with me a year. She thinks like me now. That's kind of scary, but it's all good. We get George Raveling back here next week for Dad's Weekend, which is just huge. To reach out to him, he's a good friend. We've had a relationship for 35, 40 years, going back to when I used to battle him as a player. We've done work together now with my involvement with the NABC. George was inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame this year. He is the NABC's Man of the Year, and we will honor him next June in New York. He's on a long line with a lot of big-time people back there. John Thompson, Phil Knight, Jerry Catangelo, Bill Bradley, Jim Nance, Dick Vitale. That's the group that has been our Man of the Year before, and he's done so much for college basketball that it's going to be an honor to have him back in Pullman on this campus to help us, but at the same time, we need to pay tribute to him. So in having him back, we decided to have the throwback game in Boulder Gym where he started his coaching career. Our second exhibition game will be played there. Nike's gotten involved and been very generous that we'll be able to give free T-shirts to everybody who attends the game. With George's picture and name on it and everything else. So it's just going to be a nice build-up getting through this exhibition game, heading into next week with the momentum that's here on campus to here we get a guy of that caliber, a legend of that nature coming back. I'm looking forward to it, and no differently that I'm hoping that at some point in time we even reached out to Judd to try to get Judd back, but for health reasons and things like that. But it would be nice to get him back down to this campus where he went to school and did so much for this university as well too. So you've got 2 Hall of Fame guys that had something to do with Washington State. That's just amazing to me. James Donaldson's at practice today. For those of you that'll be at practice today, when you think about Klay Thompson and Bain, 2 NBA champions that have been to school here, there's just so many positive things about Washington State that's connected to our basketball program, connected to the school, and we try to reach out and get those people involved with their program. Hopefully we can continue to do that.
Ever thought about doing some throwback jerseys for the throwback game?
I'll do the throwback jersey if all of you in the room are wearing the throwback shorts. Not gonna happen, is it? I don't think so.
Throwback shorts with those socks that will.
It won't work.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Coach.